Hello, and today we're doing predictions for matchday number 24 of the 2020 to 21 EFL Championship season. We've got a lot of games to get through due to some reschedules, so let's get cracking. But before we do, let's recap that the song of the week is bum ba da dum bum ba dum ba da dum bum ba da dum dum da dum dum da dum. Oh my god, this feeling's just begun. Saying things I never said, one more way to stop. Oh my god, this feeling's just begun. I'm frozen in motion and my head tells me to stop. Oh my heart go ba-ba-dum-bum. That is the song. It is Head and Heart by Joel Corry featuring Emanike. But what is the colour of the week? It is blue. And the theme of the week? Dogs. Who let the dogs out? So let's get into these predictions. And to kick us off, we have got Bournemouth against Millwall. It kicks off at 7:45 today. And I'm going to go with a Bournemouth win here. It has to be done. Let's say Bournemouth 2, Millwall 0. Then we'll go for Luton against QPR. It's on the 7 o'clock kickoff. And it's a rearranged game from matchday 23. And I'll say Luton Town 3, QPR 1. Then it's Brentford versus Bristol City. And I've got to fancy Brentford in this one. But it will be tight. So 2-1 to Brentford. And then it's Middlesbrough against Birmingham. And this is a fascinating one because Birmingham can sometimes surprise some teams. And Middlesbrough have been pretty consistent under the management of Neil Warnock. So I actually think it's going to be a draw here. 1-1 on the day at Middlesbrough. Now we've got Watford versus Huddersfield. Come on, you Horns. Massive game. And really, it's just a thing that we have to redeem ourselves from that previous game against Huddersfield, where there was an own goal from Etienne Capoue and also a goal from Fraser Campbell. Since then, Etienne Capoue has joined Villarreal and did play for them in the last couple of games. So yeah, it's a sad thing to see him go, but, you know, we have to move on and we have to make some signings in this January window to replace him. We've already got Philip Zinkernagel, and I'm hoping he, really gets going and hits the ground running because he looks like a really good prospect. So yeah, he should hopefully do well. But in terms of the whole squad, when the new manager has come in, Munoz, he's really seemed to get the confidence up, the belief up, and Swansea away was unfortunate, and Norwich was obviously brilliant, and Man United was Man United in the FA Cup. So it's such an important game for us to get back on track after that Swansea game. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, but I think we are going to get the win, and I'm going to go for Watford 3, Huddersfield Town 1. And goal scorers in the game, well, first of all, we'll go for a goal from Ken Sema, but then Huddersfield equalise, and I'm not sure who's going to score for Huddersfield. It's a tricky one, but we'll say that the man that gets the equaliser for the away side is going to be Josh Koroma. And then goals for Watford in the rest of the game come from, first of all, Stipe Perica. And then next, it will be a goal from the defender that is known as Jeremy Ngakia. All right, let's move on to the next game. And by the way, in terms of the minutes scored, the first goal from Watford will be scored on 15 minutes. Then the equaliser for Huddersfield, I will say, will be scored in the 35th minute. And then the goal from the legendary striker Perica on 71 minutes. And the Ngakia strike on 90 plus 4. Right, now it's a game that is between Nottingham Forest and Millwall. So yeah, this is obviously Millwall's second game of the game week because of the fact there's some rescheduled matches. But I don't think Bournemouth will have any problems with that Millwall game. Will Millwall have any problems with this Forest game? Well, we saw Forest go through in the FA Cup, beating Cardiff. And I don't know with Forest, you can never tell with them. They look like a good squad, but when you look at the table, they're really struggling. Just 1 point ahead of QPR. And obviously QPR have got a game in hand over them, but yeah, it's an interesting one, this one. Millwall are a team this season that haven't been brilliant. Sitting in 17th, they've played some pretty negative football, whereas Forest not really playing negative football, just haven't got much confidence. So it's going to be a low-scoring game, this one. But I actually am going to favour Millwall because on their day they can beat anyone, and I think that Jed Wallace will come up with some more penalty trumps, and it'll end Forest 0, Millwall 1. And that goal is from a penalty from Jed Wallace. Now it's a game between Coventry and Sheffield Wednesday. Massive, massive game at the bottom of the table. I mean, if you've ever heard of what a six-pointer is called, this is it, because Coventry go into this game in a good position, it's got to be said. They've done well for themselves in the last few matches, but they're still, they're still in the danger zone. Obviously, they're out of the FA Cup after being beaten 2-0 by Norwich, and they are facing a team in the shape of Sheffield Wednesday that you can just never call right now. I mean, to be fair, Sheffield Wednesday did pretty well to, balance out their negative points at the start of the season after their financial problems. So, yeah, they've caught up with the rest of the teams, really, Sheffield Wednesday, but they are still technically joint third from bottom. So they really do need a win here, and I think they will get it. But it will be a tight one because Coventry do often put up a fight. So we're actually going to go for a thrilling game. Both teams aren't that good defensively. So Coventry City 2, Sheffield Wednesday 3. Now we've got a matchup between Derby County and Rotherham. And just like that Coventry game, this is a 6-pointer. Derby have really struggled, getting knocked out by Chorley in the FA Cup. And obviously Rooney and the first squad have had to go into isolation due to a bit of a COVID outbreak there. Whether their players will be back in time for this game, I don't know. But I do feel Rotherham have got a bit of an opportunity here. Derby have just really fallen from grace, it's got to be said. But I don't know. I mean, to be beaten by a non-league team is embarrassing. But I guess you could say they did have a second-string team because of those cases. So will this game even go ahead? Let's be honest, because Rotherham and Derby have had their previous cases of COVID in the past. But presuming it does, I think Derby will still just about have enough, and will go for Derby County 2, Rotherham 1. Now it's a matchup between Blackburn and Stoke City. Now, quite a good game, this one, because both sides can be quite solid, getting wins, but it's just, I'd say Blackburn are probably a bit more explosive, Stoke City a bit more defensive. But as you've seen this season, Stoke are getting results, and it's why they are sitting quite nicely in eighth position at the minute, which is a bit worrying from a Watford point of view. I mean, we've got a game in hand over them, but they're only 2 points behind us, so they could easily creep up on us. And we actually play Stoke, I'm pretty sure, fairly soon. So yeah, it should be interesting to see how that one goes. But in terms of this one, it's a tough game for Stoke, I've got to say. Blackburn have been brilliant. How they're not in that top 6 so far, I don't know. But they've just been a bit up and down, win, loss, win, loss. But if you look at their players, they have a lot of players like Harvey Elliott, Adam Armstrong, that can score goals. So I do fancy Blackburn here. And I'm going to go with Blackburn Rovers 4, Stoke City 2. Could be an absolute humdinger. Now it's Reading taking on Brentford, and another big game at the top of the table. Reading did obviously fall away a little bit, whereas Brentford have really actually gone and got better as the season's gone on. So these kind of teams have swapped roles really, but they're very, very evenly matched in terms of the table. So I do feel that it'll be a moment of magic here that wins it, but I'm going to go with a Brentford victory. We're going to say Reading 0, Brentford 1. And obviously the goal is going to come from Ivan Toney. And now it's Bristol City versus Preston. Might be a close game, this one, but I'm actually going to lean towards the away side here. I think Preston, sometimes they don't give themselves enough credit, and they can play well. It's just, it's not really reflected in some of their results this season. Hence why they are sitting in a pretty average mid-table position of 12th. Whereas Bristol City are just above that with 33. So it's very, very close. But by the time they play their game against Brentford, obviously, they'll have got an extra game caught up. So I actually don't think that Bristol City will win this. As I said, a Preston win, but it will be another tight one. And I'm going to go with Bristol City 2, Preston North End 3. Now we've got a matchup between Cardiff City and Norwich City. If Cardiff can win here, it's a massive statement for the league, because Norwich have been pretty much running away with it. So consistent. Emi Buendia just pulling the strings in that team, and Timu Pukki has not been amazing, but he's got a few goals, and Norwich have just found ways to see out wins. And Bournemouth, on the other hand, they've been scoring loads of goals. But Cardiff are kind of on the fringes of that promotion place, and they're currently sitting in not an ideal position of 15th, but earlier on in the season they were actually pretty close to the playoffs. So I think they'll count themselves, quite, frustrated that they're not in the position they should be. But I do think Cardiff will still put up a fight. They still have good players, but I do want to go with a Norwich win. They're just so consistent, and obviously I'd love a Cardiff win for Watford's sake, but I just don't see it here. So I'm going to go with a Norwich win, and I'm going to go with another high-scoring game. I think this could be a very good one to watch. So I'm not sure what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say 4 goals. I'm going to go with Cardiff City 1, Norwich City 3. Now we've got Bournemouth facing Luton Town, and I do not think there's a chance for Luton here. Sorry, Luton fans, but Bournemouth are just too strong. Like, at home, they don't seem to have any weaknesses. So in this game, we're going to go for a Bournemouth win, as I said. I mean, obviously, in the reverse fixture, it was 0-0. So there's signs for hope for Luton, but I think probably Bournemouth will have enough to break them down eventually. So I'll say, I don't know. Should we go with the 1-0 or should we go with something else? I'm going to go with a Bournemouth win. That's definitely for sure. But I'm actually going to go with a high-scoring one. I'm going to say Bournemouth 4, Luton Town 2. Maybe Luton can, have an offensive struggle in the game. An offensive quality in the game to scare Bournemouth. But defensively, are they as solid? I don't think so. So, yeah, that's what we're going with. A 6-goal thriller at the Vitality. And then it's QPR taking on Wycombe Wanderers. And this is another close game. Obviously, Wycombe have been unlucky this season, I think, in certain games, but they've just not been getting results. So I don't think they're going to get one here. I'll say a 2-0 win to QPR. And the goals for QPR will come from Elias Chair and also Chris Willock. I'm pretty sure he's related to Joe Willock, if I'm right in thinking, but maybe I'm wrong. And finally, we wrap up this match day of predictions with Barnsley versus Swansea. And I've got another round of predictions coming ahead of the game starting on the 19th. There's so many games thick and fast in January. But to start off with, this Barnsley game, I do fancy Swansea quite highly in this one. Barnsley have been a little bit off the pace. I mean, they have got some decent results this season, Barnsley, and they are sitting in a very comfortable 9th position. But I just don't think they're going to be able to sustain it across the course of the season. Got there in the end. But no, I will say a Swansea win here, and I'll say Swansea don't score too many in this game, but they will score enough to win. So we'll say a Swansea 2-0 victory away from home. Those are my predictions for matchday 24 of the EFL Championship. I hope you have enjoyed. Just quickly, I will go through my Championship fantasy team basically talk about that with you because we've got some transfers that we want to make. It's got to be done. So let's just load that up and then we will end it there, people. But don't forget that the colour of the week is blue. The theme of the week is dogs. Who let the dogs out? Woof woof. And the song of the week is Head and Heart by Joel Corey and M&EK. Yeah, so basically, last week, if you're wondering, how did I do? Well, I'm on a current overall total of 539 points. So last week, we didn't do too well, it's got to be said. But we did get ourselves a correct score in the Coventry win against Millwall. So that's pretty juicy stuff. And we got some correct goal differences in the Norwich game against Barnsley. And also in the Blackburn win at Birmingham. So we'll take it. It's not brilliant, but we'll take it at the end of the day. So yeah, last week was all right. It was all right. We scored ourselves 27 points. Is that right? Or maybe it was 22. Yeah, 22 points. That's how many we scored. Pretty solid stuff. But we want to be doing better this week. So apologies for this, people. My fantasy team's taking a long time to load, but there we go. It was just buffering a little bit there. No problem. Let's get into this team. Let's see what transfers we've got available. Right, we have got 2 free transfers with 1.7 in the bank. Now, in Game Week 23, I had an absolute shocker. And I don't want to talk about it, but basically, Christie was on my bench. He scored 8 points. There's just no need for it. And I scored 23. I scored 23 points. We just don't need to talk about it. So we're moving on. 24 is surely going to be better. And basically, I've got Woodman in goal, as always. The only issue I've got is that Sinclair has got an injury, so he's going to have to go, which is a real shame because he has actually done quite well for me. Pedro, I think Pedro's back now, but it says on here that he's got a little knock, but I'm pretty sure he's back, so I'll ignore that. But we are going to take out Sinclair. But right now we've got Woodman in goal. Our back four is Pedersen, Roberts, Max Aarons and Wood from Rotherham. And then we've got Mbemu, Sinclair, Powell, O'Hare from Coventry, Tony and Jordan Ayew, or Andre Ayew, sorry. Getting confused with his brother. And then we've got Smith, Christie, Sema and Pedro on the bench. So, yeah, I'm probably going to transfer out Sinclair. So let's do that now. Sinclair is gone. So that leaves us with 7.8 to spend on one player. So who are we going to get for a deluxe midfield option? Well, obviously we can't afford Buendia. He's way too expensive by this point. But, and interestingly enough, we can afford Jamal Lowe from Swansea, which I'm kind of tempted to not do because, you know, it's just based off how he was really good against Watford, and I don't really like that scoring against us. But I mentioned in the video how Harvey Elliott's been on absolute flames, and I can afford him for 6.9 million. So Blackburn, obviously, they're playing. Who are they playing this week? I'm just having a look there. I think they're playing quite an easy team, but I've forgotten, so I need to just double check on that one. Let me just have a look. Yeah, so they've got a game coming up. They're actually currently losing in the cup. But anyway, ignore that. No, they're playing against Stoke City. That's interesting stuff. Yeah, not the best of fixtures, so maybe I want to lean towards Jamal Lowe. Swansea, let's just check who they're playing. Swansea are playing against Barnsley. Yeah, to be fair, I might have to get Jamal Lowe. It's not ideal because he's just basically scored against us and he mugged us off as well on the GoPro for the Cycling GK. But yeah, I'm gonna have to bring him in. He's just in too good form. All the goals seem to come from him. And the thing is now, I've got Jamal Lowe and Andre Ayew, and you know it's going to be one of the two. So I'm pretty covered. So that's quite a nice transfer, to be fair. All right, so we've got 0.8 left to make another transfer. Now, realistically, do I want to keep with this double up of Birmingham defence? I don't think I do. It's just not sustainably good. So I think that's going to have to go, and I'm going to get rid of either Roberts or Pedersen. Which one I do, though, is the question. So let's just have a little look at the rest of the Championship fixtures, because I do need to just see what the best fixtures are to target, basically. So if I can just go on to this Championship fixtures, and let's have a little look. So we have, so we've got. I mean, to be fair, it might be a shout to bring in someone that's got 2 games, because Bournemouth have got 2 games against Luton and Millwall. That might be a shout. QPR have got games against Wickham and Luton. To be fair, that's not bad. I might have to bring in a QPR player. That's quite tempting, actually. All right, so I've got, although it is 0.8, so I can't do much with that. But let's have a little look at some QPR options, because those fixtures are quite nice, to be fair. I mean, QPR haven't lit the world on fire, but at the same time, like, it's fine. Right, Elias Chair. I could afford. Oh no, I can't afford Elias Chair unless I sold Nick Powell. But nah, I don't want to be selling him. He's an absolute legend. I mean, Stoke have got a fixture against Blackburn, which is actually quite tough. So maybe we have to let go Nick Powell, and then we could get in. Coventry. Who are Coventry facing? They're Sheffield Wednesday. So I'll probably keep O'Hare. So yeah, I think Nick Powell's got to go, mate. Sorry, son. Right, so that leaves us with 6.5 in midfield. So we could get Brighter Say Samwell, who's an absolute baller. I mean, I know I didn't predict him to score in this game, but I don't really care, to be honest. Bright Say Samwell is such an absolute player. So we're going to get him in. It's got to be done. So that's our second transfer. And let's try and save those transfers. What? Oh, no. It said that it was 0.0, so I could afford it. Now it's saying the cost of transfers exceeds available funds by 0.1. I don't believe it. That's so unfortunate. I must have lost a bit of money by... Oh, that's so frustrating. I don't believe it. All right, I can't go for a QPR player then. Oh, well, is what it is. So Bournemouth are facing against Millwall and Luton. That's interesting. Might have to look at that. Brentford are facing Reading and Bristol City. Nah, I'm not too keen. I've already got loads of Brentford players. So yeah, I'll get a Bournemouth player for 6.4 if I can actually find someone good. Is there any options, people? 6.4. Not really. There's just not really any options. I could get Philip Billing, but I don't like that. I really don't like that. Oh, what a shame. I really would want to get Danjuma, but he's 6.8 and he's out injured anyway, so... Oh, that's a really annoying thing. Alright, well, it is what it is. I mean, maybe we just get Philip Billing. Let's have a look at other people that have got 2 games. So you got QPR, they're facing... Oh, we've done those. Bristol City, we could go for a Bristol City player. They've got games against Brentford and Preston. It's not the worst thing in the world. Let's have a look at them. I don't like it too much, to be honest. Could get Semenyo, but I don't think Bristol City are all that, to be honest, this season. Oh, I don't know what to do now. Or I could get a Millwall player, but they've got quite tough games against Forest and Bournemouth. Nah, I think I might get Semenyo, to be honest, because he's a bargain at 5.8, and it does mean I've got 0.7 going into game week 25, so I do quite like that. I'm going to go with that. Those are my 2 transfers. Low in for Sinclair, and Semenyo in for Powell. Lovely stuff. They're locked in, which leaves us with 0.6 actually budget. But so let's just quickly check through. What are we doing in terms of selection? So obviously Woodman's got to be in goal. We've got to drop Pedersen, either Pedersen or Roberts. To be fair, I don't think Pedersen's been getting much game time, whereas Roberts has. So I might sub Roberts out for Semmer, because I feel like Semmer's going to do bits against Huddersfield. So, yeah, let's put in Semmer into the team and swap out Christian Pedersen. Right, so now we've got not Chris Wood. We've got Richard Wood facing Derby. I don't like that. I mean, the game could get called off anyway, so maybe we just play Christie against Millwall. To be fair, Christie's been doing quite well recently. I think I like that more than having to play him. So yeah, we're gonna bring in Christie for Wood. I mean, to be fair, it's bitten me in the back before where I've benched Christie and he's got points. So I might just play him to be safe. But I don't see that game against Derby having too many points for Richard Wood. If he does, then fair play. He's mugged me off, but I hope not. And even though it says Pedro's injured, we know he's not. I think we're going to put Pedro first sub, and that is how we are going to. That is how we're going to leave things, basically. Let's just. How do we get that? There we go. Yeah, he's first sub now. That's good. All right, I'm happy with that team. Let's save that selection. In terms of captaincy, it's got to be Ayew, hasn't it? It's got to be Ayew against Barnsley. It's just such a good fixture. And we're actually going to emergency captain the new arrival, Semenyo. Or maybe we captain Lowe against Barnsley. I tell you what, I'm going for it. I'm going to captain Lowe. It's got to be done. We've just brought him in. He's going to be captain straight away. All right, then vice captain I think will be Tony. Because actually no, I don't like that. Yeah, vice captain Tony, not Ayew. And then Semenyo emergency captain. Yep, like that a lot. That is my team locked in for game week number 24. So, hope you have enjoyed this championship predictions for match day number 24. If you have, smash a like on it. Comment your predictions for the games down below. And the game is at Vicarage Road. Come on, you Horns. Let's go beat Huddersfield. I shall see you in the next one.